Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon, where I'll be talking about the movies, of course, TV shows, merchandising, theme parks, I don't know, what have you. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, of course, I'll be talking about it. So here we go, I reckon. So alright, I just thought I'd do one of these kinds of videos again, because why not? I don't mind doing this kind of a thing. And of course, is in regards to lost cinema, where movies were supposed to be made, but for one reason or another just weren't. There could be a variety of different reasons. Maybe issues with the script, the directors, maybe issues with the production overall, like money, marketing, or what have you. Just unfortunately, a lot of things could. Of course, I'm referring to the Little Mermaid, the original one. Well, Disney's original one, anyway. Yes, I mean this movie was already plagued with problems, really, because when it comes to production, because originally this was supposed to have been directed by Walt Disney when he was alive, so this film was stuck in development limbo for more than 2 decades actually. So I'm not going to be going into too much detail of that specifically because I do believe that warrants a separate thing. But anyway, I just want to talk about the fact that there was going to be another sequel that was planned, of course, when it comes to The Little Mermaid, Disney's version, of course. And again, like I said in my previous video, you think of all the movies, this just guaranteed to pretty much do more and more, just milk it as much as they could. You think this would have had quite a few of these, but surprisingly, no. I mean, okay, it did become a franchise, sure, I'm just saying. Because one of the first movies that they did, sequels, I mean, The Little Mermaid 2 Return to Sea. And then that was followed by a prequel, The Little Mermaid Ariel's Beginning. So, yeah, two movies were made. And so it was a prequel and a sequel, really. However, eventually, I guess this character Ariel was popular enough that, of course, it was a TV show. This lasted just one season, to my knowledge. But anyway, the thing is that there was going to be an actual third movie, a different third movie, really, of course. And this was going to be more or less focused on Ariel to some extent, I guess you can say, obviously. But the thing is that when it comes to this one, folks, it was going to pretty much center around like the title suggests. This concept would have just introduced the character of Ariel's long lost sister, who would have been the main character of the story. So Ariel herself would have been pretty much pushed to the side, really, and it would focus on her long lost sister, as mentioned a moment ago. This doesn't seem much of a stretch because if you notice in the first film, she had a bunch of other mermaids around her in the beginning of the film. So yes, and then if you watch a TV show, and then of course in the TV show there's like a truck ton of mermaids are all around her. So this does seem plausible that this could have actually happened. And then not only that, Ariel actually had a kid in the second film, of course. But of course, this would have not been it would not have been a prequel. I mean, we eventually got a prequel, sure, but this would have not been the case. Of course, it was been a more of a take place continuity wise. It was going to take place after the first film. As far as I'm concerned, that could have been a totally solid idea when you think about it. And that's one way to continue what was going on in the story, if they actually gone through with this, of course. But anyway, I'm not a huge fan of prequels anyway. But then the thing is that, yeah, when it comes to part threes, the third part is often a curse. In a lot of movies, the third part curse often tends to be the worst one of the bunch, really, when it comes to almost practically any trilogy. I mean, okay, it's not just limited to this, it's any movie, really, any franchise, actually. The third part curse is just usually a big no-no. But yes, unfortunately, this is a thing. The third part curse pretty much refers to a trend in the film industry where the third part of any given franchise is often fails to live up to the expectations by its predecessor, which, yes, of course, often happens either, of course, critically and commercially. This, of course, this phenomenon can be seen in various film franchises, of course, which, yes, it's a thing. This, of course, is an unfortunate reality. A lot of film franchises, so you do have to be extremely careful with this kind of a thing. I mean, yes, it's easier said than done. Often, when it comes to franchises, it usually goes downhill at the second part. I mean, there are some exceptions to this but I mean, yes, when it comes to franchises, the it usually goes down at part two. If not at part three, part two would be part three. It goes downhill. And if they make any more, it gets progressively worse and worse and worse. Assume they make more than that. Again, I know there are some exceptions to this. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. But anyway, the reasons for this, the third part, curse for failing can be a very maybe fatigue from audiences, or maybe rush production schedules, of course, maybe overly ambitious plots, the challenge of meeting high expectations set by the successful successors, among other things. So there's that, I reckon, of course. So yeah, it can be pretty difficult to actually live up to what was already done when you think about it. So that is definitely a phenomenon. But anyway, moving on from that, of course, this entire thing was just scrapped. So this entire idea was scrapped anyway. And the exact reasoning behind this, I'm not quite too sure, really, because eventually, yes, it was scrapped, but it seems more in favor for, of course, it's the Little Mermaid era's beginning, which, yes, again, is a prequel where we could see where she was little and just grow older, I guess you can say. So there was that. It's supposed to be her origin story, I suppose. And we get to see that the other mermaids are here in the same kingdom, I guess. So there was some, I guess, a vague idea was left in there, of course, I guess. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not because it was going to, the original idea for a third movie was going to just be focusing on a sister, like I said before. And the fact that the prequel featured more than one mermaid in the same kingdom, so I'm guessing that was one of the ideas, I guess. Again, to what extent, I don't know. But it's this kind of an awkward storytelling in the sense that okay, you made the first film a second one, and then your third feature is technically a prequel. That's weird. That's really weird if you ask me. But okay. Also, there's actually two different versions of the prequel movie because there's a censored version and uncut version. The uncut version is available and was rated TV 12 and upward. So the reasons behind this, I don't know. I guess because of specific wording that was said in the movie. I'm not quite too sure, really. But anyway, so yeah, just let you know there are two different versions of that one movie that was released. I guess it's just some slight changes here and there. That's about it, really. My knowledge. But okay, that's the thing, though. It's just so yeah. While a third movie was made, but as I mentioned a moment ago, it was done as a prequel. So the entire project for this one was just completely scrapped. For what reason? What reason exactly? I'm not quite too sure. I'm guessing it's in favor for the other movie instead. Probably because they probably have more faith in it, really. And it's probably because since Ariel is one of the most popular characters when it comes to the the Disney animated features when it comes to princesses. So I guess when I say they, I mean whoever was going to direct this, which I'm not really sure what who's going to be. But anyway, I guess just focusing on the one of the sisters instead of Ariel, they must felt like maybe it would not been really enough buying power. I guess not. They're trying to bank on Ariel instead, rather than just have some completely unknown relative that you didn't hear about until now. So again, I'm just doing darts in the dark here, folks. I'm just guessing here. So since Ariel is definitely one of the most popular princesses when it comes to these kinds of movies, I guess financially speaking, the people at Disney thought it would probably would make more sense to have Ariel be the main character instead of some unspecified sister that no one had heard about up until this movie. I'm not sure who the name was a sister. I'm not quite too sure who that was. There was no concept art, really. There was no storyboards. There was no script. There was really nothing. It didn't really go into production like at all. So again, it probably didn't go any further than that. Just some commissioned concept that somebody had at some meeting at some point, really. And that's probably as far as it went, I guess. But I do wonder what could have been if this was actually done. If it was actually done. It's kind of sad in some ways, but that's business for you, of course. And it's not as easy as you may think. Yes, getting into the film industry is pretty difficult, of course. You can't just get a camera and click and start recording. You can't just not just do it. You can't just start recording something and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. You have to go through a lot of orders, of course. And the same thing with animation. You can't just start drawing something and just release it to the world. There's a lot more things you have to go through to make sure you get your project done. There's like a lot of stuff you have to go through, folks. I'm not really going to go into this that much, really, but still, there's a lot of orders you have to be pressured to go through. So I'm keeping this fairly short because, again, I know I haven't really talked about all that much with specific details. I guess to some extent I did, but that's about it. So, as always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh, yeah. Later.